Hello everybody, Interi, back again with another video. Today guys, of course I'm gonna preview this upcoming match, this clash of the titans between our great giants in this beautiful sport that we all love, tennis, Roger Federer versus Rafael Nadal in this upcoming semi-final in Indian Wells. I want to talk about this match, what I think will happen. It's not easy to predict tennis matches, guys, of course, and it's not easy to predict what will happen and how the match will be and so on. But after seeing this sport over 20 years and after seeing Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer play so many times, I think this is their 39th meeting, if I'm not wrong. Correct me on the comment below if I'm wrong, but I think this is their 39th encounter that will happen in a couple of hours. So I may have some thing to say about this matchup. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this match that we have in front of us, and I'm going to talk a little about the Dominic team and Milos Raonic, the other semi-finals. I'm going to talk most about Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, and that is pretty understandable why, guys, because these two are the giants of the sport, and it is not Dominic Thiem, Milos Raonic, but I have to give respect to the others two as well, and I'm going to talk a little about them as well. Alright guys, let's start this. Before this tournament started, for you who has seen my video when I did my Indian Wells preview, of course I had Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer in my top 5 favorite list. None of them was my number one. All of you probably know who was my number one favorite to win this event, but he was knocked out as early as in the 3rd round, I believe, against Philip Kohlschreiber, and that was Novak Djokovic. But these two are still in the game, guys, and this was not a surprise. I even actually believe that they will face each other in the semi-finals. I even said that because in my opinion, these two guys, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, are the most consistent tennis players of all time. Rafael Nadal is the number one. I've said it before and I will say it again. Rafael Nadal is the most consistent tennis player that I have ever seen in my life, guys. He is so consistent, guys. He barely never do bad tennis matches. He never has bad days, guys, on the tennis court. And when he has that, he still looks good. He still is watchable. I cannot say the same for Federer and for Novak Djokovic. They are also, of course, great tennis players. Absolutely. If I'd said something else, I would be a totally maniac, and which I'm not. But when they have bad days, they are not they are not beautiful to look, guys. And you know it. If somebody says differently, then those guys are lying. So Rafael Nadal to me is the most consistent tennis player that I have ever seen, and after him I have to say it is Roger Federer, because even Roger Federer, even though he is not as consistent as Nadal is, but he also really delivers, guys. He barely makes bad tennis matches as well. He barely loses in 2nd or 3rd rounds. He does it sometimes, of course. He's only human, but but he is consistent. He's in my 2nd list for being the most consistent tennis player of all time. And the 3rd player who's most consistent, it is Novak Djokovic. In my opinion, Novak Djokovic is the one who loses most in 2nd and 3rd rounds, if we compare these three. Novak Djokovic has all other abilities. I have talked about that in the past. He has the highest level of all these three of all time, basically, but his highest level is not higher than Federer's and Nadal's. But let not dwell in that now. This video is about this matchup that we have in front of us in a couple of hours between Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer and little about Dominic Thiem and Milos Raonic, but most about Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer. Who will win this battle? What will happen? And so on. Guys, to be quite honest, before this injury that Nadal has with his knee back and forth, Nadal will have these issues with his knees. It is both in the right knee and left knee, guys. I know it is not just one knee, but this time it is the right knee, I believe, that he had trouble with against Karen Khachanov in yesterday's quarterfinals. In the first set, he was pretty healthy. He moved good, and I didn't see any sign that he was struggling. But towards at least of that towards in the last minutes of that first set, at least after the first set was over, when Rafa won that first set 6-7 in that tiebreak, the troubles was getting to Rafa's knee, and he got treatment in the changeover after the first set. And then in the second set, Rafa, we all could see that he was struggling, guys. He was not moving good. He was. I honestly believe that he might quit the match, guys. I honestly believe that he would not play the match to the end. But Rafa is Rafa. We all know that he's a huge fighter. He's a great fighter, probably the greatest fighter that we have ever seen. He doesn't quit matches easily. He really does not, especially if he's winning. I believe if he had lost that second set, he maybe would have not finished the match. Maybe, I'm not sure even then. But he was trying to win that second set. He was going more for his shots. You could clearly see that he was not playing long rallies. He was being really aggressive. And towards the end of the second set, guys, he actually started to move a little better. And in the end, he pulled that match through, and he won that second set as well in the tiebreak, 7-6. Exactly the same numbers and like the first set, 7-6, 7-6. Even the same numbers in the breaker, 7-2 in the first set and 7-2 in the second set. So, Rafa, what did he say after the match? He said that, I love to play in hard courts, but my body doesn't love to play on hard courts as I do. So I don't know if I can guarantee to play the match, and I don't know if I can guarantee how I will feel tomorrow when I wake up. But like I know Rafa, I don't know him personally, but what I have seen in him, he's over the years since 2005, he will enter the match against Roger Federer in the semifinal. He will go to the court, but how he will feel after 4 or 5 games, and if he will play the match to the end, I don't know. But he will definitely go to the match. Before this injury, before these problems with his knee, I was going back and forth with this matchup, guys. Who will win? Who will be the favorite? Who will go to the finals? I was not feeling sure, guys. It's not easy to predict these two guys. It really is not. Both of these players are giants. One has won 20 Grand Slam titles, Roger Federer, and the other has won 17 Grand Slam titles, which is Nadal. And the head-to-head is 23 to 15 in the head-to-head, 23 to Nadal and 15 to Roger Federer. The hard courts head-to-head is 11-9 to Roger Federer. And in Indian Wells, it is 2-1 to Roger Federer. So, Roger Federer has advantage on hard court. Not with much, but he has 11-9. Roger Federer has advantage in Indian Wells. Not with much, but 2-1. The conditions play a role here as well. The conditions are not super fast. We all know that. Indian Wells is one of the most slowest hard court of the season, if not the slowest of all hard courts that we have in this tennis season, guys. So this will, of course, give an advantage to Rafa Nadal. It is almost like clay, guys. Rafa has so much time to defend. Roger Federer's shot making doesn't help him to penetrate the court like it does in a fast surface, so Roger Federer will not have an easy time to make winners, especially not a great defender like Nadal. So Rafa Nadal has that ability to leak a lot of unforced errors from Roger Federer, especially in these slow conditions. That's why Roger Federer struggles so much against Nadal. It's not a surprise, because the surface is so... That's why Roger Federer struggles a lot against Nadal on clay, because the surface on clay is so slow that basically Roger Federer, he feels helpless against a great defender like Nadal, who is like a walking wall. Everything comes back, and Roger Federer will leak a lot of unforced errors, and Rafa Nadal will win and beat Roger Federer in that way. So it's little similar in this surface in the Wells. Not exactly like clay, of course, but the court is pretty slow. We all know that. So this will help Rafa Nadal so tremendous, guys. It really will do. Even Roger Federer's serve will not kill Nadal as it does on the fast surfaces. All right. With all this said, Roger Federer has won the last 5 meetings between these two. Like we all know, he won 4 straight meetings in 2017, and he won in 2015 in that Basel final 4 years ago. So, counting that Basel final and those 4 meetings in 2017, Australian Open, Indian Wells, Miami, and Shanghai, Roger Federer is in a 5-win streak against Nadal. So Roger Federer will go to the court with confidence, and especially when he knows that Rafa Nadal is not feeling 100% with his knee. So Roger Federer will of course be high with his confidence that he can, and that he will beat this great super Spaniard and his great nemesis over the years. But we have to also talk about that Roger Federer is not the same player that he was in 2017, guys. He really is not. He's playing good tennis. He's playing solid tennis. I'm to be quite honest, I'm a little surprised that Roger Federer is playing that good. Because when I saw him in Dubai, he basically did only two great matches. It was against Bonachoric in the semifinals, and it was of course against Stefanos Tsitsipas in the finals. In the finals, he did his best match in Dubai, in my opinion. He was so good. He was returning so great, and he was serving so good. He served, I believe, 76% first service against Stefanos Tsitsipas in that final. But before those matches against before the 3 matches before Bonachoric and Stefanos Tsitsipas, Roger Federer he played solid. He looked okay, but he didn't look invincible, to say the least. But he has played much better here in the Wells, even though the conditions are much slower than in Dubai. So he has looked good, Roger Federer. So he has not dropped to one single set so far, and he has been playing great from a baseline. He has been returning solid, not great in my opinion, but pretty good. He has been serving good. He has only been broken 1 time, I believe, if I'm not wrong. He has not had a very great high percentage of serves, I have to admit. I think he served 56% first serves in yesterday's quarterfinals, Roger Federer. But like I've said before, Roger Federer when it comes to Roger Federer's serve, it's not all about his first serve. Roger Federer has a great second serve as well. And like we all say, you serve as good as your second serve is. your serve is as great as your second serve is. So Roger Federer makes a lot of damage with his second serve as well. At least against other players, he has to serve great against Nadal. I don't think 56% will be enough to beat Rafa Nadal. I really don't do. So, but against other players, besides Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer doesn't need to serve over 70% to beat them. He can serve 55, 60%. He will beat them anyway. All right, but with all this said, who will win this match? Rafa Nadal has not dropped a set either. He has looked pretty good as well, like he always does. He's always so consistent. That's the thing with Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer. With Roger Federer plays much more risky tennis. Like we all know, he goes more for his shots. He plays with less top spin. He's not as solid from the baseline as Nadal. Basically, Rafa Nadal plays a much more high percentage tennis, guys. And when you play a much more high percentage tennis, the chances will always be that you will be more rock solid than your opponent. So when Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal enters the court, we all know that the guy who will play more high percentage tennis will be Rafael Nadal and not Roger Federer. We all know that Rafa Nadal will be the one who will do less unforced errors and not Roger Federer. This matchup is not about who will do. This matchup is basically this matchup is who will do more unforced errors and who will do more winners. For Rafa Nadal is he will do less unforced errors than Roger Federer. That I can guarantee you before this match even starts. And for Roger Federer will be who will do more unforced, who will do more winners, because he knows he will do more unforced errors than Nadal. That is a fact. And Roger Federer's game plan will be to do more winners than unforced errors. And if he do more winners than unforced errors, he will probably beat Nadal. And those times he has lost against Nadal, he has done more unforced errors than he has done winners. If not more unforced errors than winners, it has been close. He has to do much more winners than unforced errors. It will not be enough to do 5 or 10 winners than unforced errors. It will not be, because Nadal will not give him so much. And then Nadal will beat him. But if Roger Federer somehow can do 15 or 20 more winners than unforced errors, then he will beat Nadal, I think. So this is a matchup that this is not a great matchup for Roger Federer. Let's be honest. Rafa Nadal playing style does hurt Roger Federer a lot. Even Stefanos Tsitsipas said after that Australian Open beatdown he got from Rafa Nadal in semi-final, he said, "I can't believe how Roger Federer has beat this guy, because me and Roger Federer has the similar tennis style, with one single hand backhand, with Rafa's high top spin that bounces high." So he was confused, and he has a point, guys. It's not easy for a playing style like Roger Federer to beat Nadal. It's not, because what does Rafa Nadal bring to the court that hurt Roger Federer so much? We know that all that Rafa serve, not maybe all, but 97, 98% of Rafa's serve, they land to Roger Federer's backhand side, guys. They really do. Rafa Nadal, he is so great he's a huge tactical player, guys. He doesn't get so much credit for this, guys. Because he has so many other aspects in his game that are huge. So people doesn't talk so much about his tactical brain that he has. But he is probably the best tactical player of all time. Maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe. Every match he enters, he plays to his guys' weaknesses, and I cannot say that Federer does the same. To be quite honest, I've made a video about this a couple of weeks ago, that Federer has mindset that he wants to beat his opponents in his own terms. Nadal, which I believe it's not a great mindset, to be quite honest. You have to be humble and attack your opponent's weaknesses. And Nadal has that humble personality. He plays his opponents so tactically great. For him, it's all about winning, and not winning in beautiful fashion or beating them in his own terms. For him, it's all about winning. And of course, Rafa Nadal knows Roger Federer's weaknesses. He knows that Roger Federer's backhand returns are not super great, and he will serve to Roger Federer's backhand corner 9 of 10 times. I know that before the match even starts, because I've seen they play since 2004, guys. Since they first faced each other in that Miami round, in second or third round. I don't remember which round it was, but it was an early round in 2004. And if you see even that match so long time ago, you can see already then that Rafa, he was 17, 18 years old, and he was serving to Federer's backhand side already back then. So of course it will not be any change of the game plan tonight. Absolutely not. So Rafa will serve to Roger Federer's backhand side. And then when the rally is on, Rafa will attack Roger Federer's backhand side. Because let's face it, guys, Roger Federer's backhand will never be as good as his forehand. It will never be. And Rafa is not stupid. He, of course, will attack that side when the rally is on as well. And then, so this matchup is not great for Roger Federer. But Roger Federer has turned this corner around. He did it in 2017 when he won 4 consecutive matches against Nadal, like I talked before. So this matchup doesn't feel as one-sided like it was before that 2017, at least not to me. If not that 2017 was happening like it did when Roger Federer won 4 consecutive matches against Nadal, this video would be over, guys, in 7 to 8 minutes for me. I will say Nadal will win in straight sets, bam bam. I really would do that, guys. But after seeing 2017, after seeing 2015's Basel final, which Roger Federer won in 3 sets, and after seeing Rafa struggling with his knee, of course that I'm not sure that Nadal will win. Of course, absolutely not. The opposite. I have Roger Federer winning this. I really have. I am not sure Roger Federer will win. I am not. Absolutely not. Why I am not? Of 2 reasons. Roger Federer is not as good as in 2017. He is, even though he is looking not rock solid. He's looking solid. He's playing good tennis. He's serving okay. He's not serving great, but he's serving solid. He's returning okay, not great. His backhand is looking okay, not great. He's slicing a lot. And when Roger Federer slices a lot, that's a sign that he's not feeling great to hit flat backhands. That's a sign, I believe. But he's playing solid, and that has taken him to the semifinals, and that made him win the Dubai title a couple of weeks ago. But he's facing another animal now. He's facing a beast. He's facing a guy. But let's face it. He's facing his most difficult opponent in throughout his career. To be quite honest, yes, Novak Djokovic is a difficult opponent for Roger Federer as well. Yeah, but the head-to-head between Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic is not that. It's more even. And it's not the case with Nadal. It's 23-15. I know a lot of these matches have been on clay. I know that, but anyway, if we look at the hardcore head-to-head, it's not. It is only 11-9. It's not like Roger Federer is leading way crazy much. He's leading only with 2 matches, guys. So if Rafa was not feeling if Rafa didn't have any trouble with his knee, maybe I would give the advantage to Rafa, guys. Because Roger is not playing as great as in 2017, guys. He's not hitting his backhand as great. He's not retaining as great. Don't forget, guys, that 2017 season, I have never seen Roger Federer play as good with his backhand and return as good with his backhand. Honestly, I have never seen, guys. Even not in his peak years in 2007 and in 2008. In peak years, Roger Federer's backhand and Roger Federer's returns was not as great as it was in 2017, guys. It really was not. So, and Roger Federer is not hitting his backhand as great in this year, not even last year in 2018, and is not returning as great this year like he did in 2017 as well. So that's why Rafa Nadal will hurt Roger Federer more in this matchup, I think. That's my feeling. But I have to give the advantage to Roger Federer, even though all of the things that I've said, that Federer is not as good in this year that it was in 2017 with his backhand and with his returns. I have to give the advantage to Federer because, first of all, of two reasons that I'm going to mention. Three reasons. Three reasons. First of all, Rafa Nadal is not as great defender like he was in the past. He, of course, is great. He's still a great defender, guys, but he is not as great defender like he was in the past. Roger Federer, he has not that ability like he had before to leak unforced errors from Roger Federer like before. Before, Roger Federer was forced to hit 3, 4, 5 shots to make winners, but maybe 7, 8. Now he can hit 2, 3. Then Rafa Nadal will not be successful to defend. So Rafa Nadal is still a great defender, but not as great defender like he was in the 5, 6 years ago. To be honest, guys. So that one reason. I think Roger Federer will be able to make a lot of winners. One thing. The other thing is, of course, the knee. I think that Rafa will not be. I will think he will play, but I think Roger Federer knows that Rafa has trouble with his knee, and Roger Federer will make Rafa run. He will test Rafa's knee. That's the second thing. So these two things, I think, will make that Roger Federer will win this match. I think he will win in straight sets. That's my feeling. And Roger Federer is still playing solid tennis. It can be enough, you know. And the other thing that Rafa doesn't have that will hurt Roger Federer so monstrous much, to take example like Novak does, Rafa doesn't have super great returns. He returns good, guys, still, but even though he doesn't return as great as Novak does, if Roger misses his first serve, Rafa he still lays 2-3 meters behind the baseline. Rafa is pretty defensive in Federer's serve. So even if Roger will not make a lot of first serves in, Roger will hurt Nadal even with his second serve. Of course, he will not hurt him as much with the second serve, but he will still do a lot of damage. I believe. I can be wrong. Another thing that Roger will not do a lot with his shot making with Nadal is I don't think he will slice. He will not slice a ton much against Nadal, because he knows that the slices doesn't hurt Nadal. I don't want to talk much about this, but we all know that Rafa Nadal, he's the beast to take Federer's slices. He has that grip, he has that top spin, he just digs deep, and he really makes a great winners, and the shots just they just dive down before the baseline. So I've heard rumors that Craig Rashani, that guy from the ATP who makes a lot of statics about the match. He told Roger Federer's team before that Australian Open final 2017, if Federer wants to beat Nadal, he has to take his slice out from his from his play. He really, if he has to want to have a chance to beat his great rival, he just should stop slicing, because the slice is effective against all other players but not against Nadal. And he listened to that advice, and he didn't. Not only the Australian Open final, but even in the wilds, even in Miami, and even in Shanghai in 2017. So I don't think Federer will slice a lot against Nadal in this upcoming match. He will, of course, slice when he's forced to slice, when he's in the defensive positions to save the rally. But he will not slice as much as he has done against previous opponents. I'm totally sure about that. So my prediction is that Roger Federer will win this match of those reasons that I've mentioned. If I think he will do it in straight sets. Of course, Nadal is Nadal. I will not be surprised if Nadal defeated Federer. I will not be surprised, of course not. But my feeling is that Roger Federer will beat the Spaniard. That is my feeling. I can be wrong. Let's see. So I think he will do it in straight sets. That's my feeling. So let's see what happens. Some words about Dominic Thiem and Milos Raonic. I didn't believe in Dominic Thiem before this match, before this event started, guys. I didn't have him in my top 5 favorite list in the first place. But Dominic Thiem has been rolling good. He has finding his rhythm. He has finding his strokes, and it's not a huge surprise, guys, when you analyze it, because it is a slow hard court. He has like we all know, Dominic Thiem's best surface is clay, and this Indian Wells surface is most similar to clay. So it is not a monstrous surprise that Dominic Thiem has found his rhythm here in the Wells, because he has the time to prepare his big cuts, big swings, because we all know that Dominic Thiem has big cuts and big swings, and that's why he's so weak in fast surfaces, because he has not that time to prepare his big cuts and big swings. That's why he's not good on grass, to say, and on fast surfaces. And this surface has helped him in the Wells. And so this is not a huge surprise that he has played good, and he's in these semifinals against Milos Raonic. And the head-to-head between these two guys is 2-0 to Milos Raonic. Dominic Thiem has not defeated Milos Raonic in his career yet, but those two encounters were in 2016, and it was those two matches were on surface, of course, but it wasn't faster surfaces. I think one match was in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, we all know that this is much faster surface than in the Wells, and the other one was also in a hard court. I don't remember which event it was, but it was in hard court as well, and I think it was, and I'm sure it was a faster surface and than it is in the Wells. So I believe in Dominic Thiem will beat Milos Raonic for the first time. That's my feeling. I think, even though Dominic Thiem has never defeated Milos Raonic, but sometimes it will be the first time you do it, and I think Dominic Thiem will do it for the first time here in the Wells. It is now. It is. If it's somewhere he should defeat Milos Raonic for the first time, it should be now. He has the conditions suits him to do it. Like I told you before, the conditions are slow. He has time to prepare his long cuts, his long swings. So he should really defeat Milos Raonic for the first time in this surface. So I think Dominic Thiem is the slight favorite and I think he will beat Milos Raonic for the first time. So I think Roger Federer will defeat Rafa Nadal in straight sets, and I think Dominic Thiem will beat Milos Raonic in straight sets, and I think we will get in the Wells final between Roger Federer and Dominic Thiem. All right, guys, that was it. This has been a crazy long video. I hope that you enjoyed, and take care and see you next time. Bye bye.